Personally, I've never met anybody who didn't like a good ghost story, but I know a lot of people who think there are a lot of people who don't like a good ghost story. For the benefit of these, at least I go on record at the outset of this evening's entertainment with a sober assurance that although blood may be curdled on this program, none will be split. There's no shooting, knifing, throttling, axing, or poisoning here. No clanking chains, no cobwebs, no bony and or hairy hands appearing from secret panels, or better yet, bedroom curtains. If it's any part of that dear old fluorescent foolishness that people don't like, ghost stories don't like, then again, I promise you, we haven't got it. Not tonight. What we do have is a thriller. If it's half as good as we think, we can call it a shocker. A story doesn't have to appeal to the heart, it can also appeal to the spine. Sometimes you want your heart to be warm. Sometimes you want your spine to tingle. It's to be hoped will be quite audible as you listen to tonight, The Hitchhiker. That's the name of our story, The Hitchhiker.
I'm in an auto camp on Route 66, just west of Gallup, New Mexico. If I tell it, perhaps it'll help me, keep me from going crazy. I gotta tell this quickly. I'm not crazy now. I feel perfectly well, except I'm running a slight temperature. My name is Ronald Adams. I'm 36 years of age, unmarried, tall, dark with a black mustache. I drive a 1940 Buick, license number 6Y175189. I was born in Brooklyn. All this I know. I know that I'm at this moment perfectly sane. That it's not me who's gone mad, but something else, something utterly beyond my control. I've got to speak quickly. At any minute, the link may break. This may be the last thing I ever tell on Earth, the last night I ever see the stars. Six days ago, I left Brooklyn to drive to California.
Goodbye, son. Good luck to you, my boy.
Goodbye, Mother. Here, give me a kiss and go down, bro.
I'll come out with you to the car.
Oh no, it's raining. Stay out here at the door. What is this? Tears? I thought you promised you wouldn't cry.
Oh, no. Oh, I know, dear. I'm sorry, but I do take the seeds up.
Mother, I'll be back. I'll only be on the coast for 3 months.
Oh, it isn't that. It's just the trip. Ronald, I wish you weren't driving.
Oh, Mother, there you go again. People do it every day.
I know, but you'll be careful, won't you? Promise me you'll be extra careful. Don't fall asleep or drive fast or pick up any strangers on the road.
Gosh, you would think I was still 17 to hear you talk.
And wire me as soon as you get to Hollywood.
Of course.
Won't you, son?
Of course I will. Don't you worry. There isn't anything going to happen. It's just 8 days of perfectly simple driving on smooth, decent, civilized roads with a hot dog or hamburger stand every 10 minutes, 10 miles. I was in fine spirits. The drive ahead of me, even the loneliness seemed like a lark, but I reckoned with them. Crossing Brooklyn Bridge that morning in the rain, I saw a man leaning against the cables. He seemed to be waiting for a lift. There were spots of fresh rain on his shoulders. He was carrying a cheap overnight bag in one hand. He was thin, nondescript, with a cap pulled over his eyes. I would have forgotten him completely, except that just an hour later, while crossing the Pulaski Skyway over the Jersey Flats, I saw him again. At least he looked like the same person. He was standing now with one thumb pointed west. I couldn't figure out how he got there, but I thought probably one of those fast trucks had picked him up, beaten me to Skyway, and let him off. I didn't stop for him. Then, late that night, I saw him again. It was on the new Pennsylvania Turnpike between Harrisburg and Pittsburgh. It's 265 miles long with a very high speed limit. I was just slowing down for one of the tunnels when I saw, standing under an arc light, by the side of the road. I could see him quite distinctly, the bag, the cap, even the spots of fresh rain splattered over his shoulders. He helloed at me this time.
Hello, hello.
I stepped on the gas like a shot. It's lonely country through the alleys, and I had no intention of stopping. Besides, the coincidences or whatever it was gave me the willies. I stopped at the next gas station.
Yes, sir.
Fill her up?
Certainly, sir. Check your oil, sir.
No thanks.
Nice night, isn't it?
Yes, it has been raining here recently, has it?
Not a drop of rain all week.
Oh, I suppose that hasn't done your business any harm.
Oh, people drive through here all kinds of weather. Mostly this, There aren't many pleasure cars out in the terminal season.
I suppose not. What about hitchhikers?
Hitchhikers here?
What's the matter? Don't you ever see any?
Not much. If we did, it'd be a sight of sore eyes.
Why?
The guy would be a fool who started out on hitch rides. Look at it. It's 265 miles long.
Then
There's practically no speed limit in the straightaway. Now, what car is going to stop and pick the guy up in these conditions? Would you stop?
Then you never seen anybody?
Oh, maybe you did get a lift before the turnpike starts. I mean, just before the toll house. But then it'd be a mighty long ride. Most cars wouldn't want to pick up a guy for that long a ride. And this is pretty lonesome country here. Mountains and woods. You ain't seen anything like that, have you?
Oh no, not at all. I would just a technical question.
I see. Well, that'll be $1.49 to tax.
The thing gradually passed through my mind as sheer coincidence. I had a good night's sleep in Pittsburgh. I didn't think about the man all next day until just outside of Zanesville, Ohio. I saw him again. It was a bright, sunshiny afternoon. The peaceful Ohio fields, brown with the autumn stubble, lay dreaming in the golden light, and I was driving slowly, drinking it in, when the road suddenly ended in a detour. In front of the barrier, he was standing.
Hello.
Let me explain about his appearance before I go on. I repeat, there was nothing sinister about him. He was as drab as a mud fence, nor was his attitude menacing. He merely stood there, waiting, almost drooping a little, the cheap overnight bag in his hand. He looked as though he'd been waiting for hours, and he looked up. He hailed at me, starting to walk forward.
Hello.
No, not now, just worried.
Going to California?
No, not today. The other way, going to New York, sorry. After I got the car back on the road again, I felt like a fool. Yet the thought of picking him up, of having him sit beside me, was somehow unbearable. At the same time, I felt more than ever unspeakably alone. Hour after hour went by. The fields, the towns, takes off one by one. The light changed. I knew now that I was going to see him again. And though I dreaded the sight, I caught myself searching the side of the road, waiting for him to appear. Beep, beep.
Yep, what is it? What do you want?
You sell sandwiches and pop here, don't you?
Yep, we do, in the daytime, but we're closed up now for the night.
I know, but I was wondering if you could possibly let me have a cup of coffee, black coffee.
Not at this time of night, mister. My wife's a cook and she's in bed. Maybe farther down the road at the Honeysuckle Rest.
No, don't shut the door. Please, listen. Just a minute ago, there was a man standing here, right beside this stand. A suspicious-looking man. I don't mean to disturb you, you see. I was driving along when I just happened to look there, and there he was.
Henry? Who is it, Henry?
It's nobody, mother, just a feller. thinks he wants a cup of coffee. Go back into bed.
I don't mean to disturb you, but you see, I was driving along when I just happened to see. When I just happened to look, and there he was.
What was he doing?
Nothing. He ran off when I stopped the car.
Then what of it? That's nothing to waken him in the middle of his sleep about. Young man, I've got a good mind to turn you over to the sheriff.
But
You've been taking a nip, that's what you've been doing, and you haven't got anything better to do than to wake decent folk out of their hard-earned sleep. Get going, go on.
But he looked as though he were going to rob you.
I ain't got nothing in this stand to lose. Now on your way before I call out Sheriff Oaks.
I got into the car again and drove on slow. I was beginning to hate the car. If I could have found a place to stop to rest a little, but I was in the Ozark Mountains of Missouri now. The few resort places there were closed. Only an occasional log cabin, seemingly deserted, broke the monotony of the wild wooden landscape. I had seen him at that roadside stand. I knew I would see him again, perhaps at the next turn of the road. I knew that I would saw him again next. I would run him down. But I did not see him again until late next afternoon. I had stopped the car at a sleepy junction just across the border into Oklahoma to let a train pass by when he appeared across the tracks leading it to telephone pole. It was a perfectly airless, dry day. The red clay of Oklahoma was baking under the southwestern sun, yet there were spots of fresh rain on the shoulder. I couldn't stand that. Without thinking blindly, I started the car across the tracks. He didn't even look up at me. He was staring at the ground. I stepped on the gas hard, veering the wheel sharply toward him. I could hear the train in the distance now, but I didn't care. Then something went wrong with the car. It stalled right on the tracks. The train was coming closer. I could hear its bell ringing and the cry of its whistle. Still, he stood there, and now I knew that he was beckoning me to my death. I was frustrated at him at that time. The starter had worked at last. I managed to back up, but when the train passed, he was gone. I was all alone in the hot, dry afternoon. After that, I knew I had to do something. I didn't know who this man was or what he wanted of me. I only knew that from now on, I must not let myself be alone on the road for one moment. Hello there. Hello there. Like a ride?
What do you think? How far are you going?
Amarillo. I'll take you to Amarillo.
Amarillo, Texas?
I'll drive you there.
Gee. Mind if I take my shoes off? My dogs are killing me.
Go right ahead.
Gee, what a break this is. A swell car, a decent guy, and driving all the way to Amarillo. All I've been getting so far is trucks.
Hitchhike much?
Sure. Only it's tough sometimes in these great open spaces to get the brakes.
I should think it would be, though I'll bet if you get a good pickup in a fast car, you can get places faster than, say, another person in another car?
I don't get you.
Well, take me, for instance. Suppose I'm driving across the country, say, at a nice steady clip of about 45 miles an hour. Couldn't a girl like you just stand beside the road ready for lifts, beat me to town after town, providing she got picked up every time in a car doing from 65 to 70 miles an hour?
I don't know. Maybe she could and maybe she couldn't. What difference does it make?
Oh, no difference. It's just a crazy idea I had sitting in the car.
Imagine spending your time in a swell car thinking of things like that.
What would you do instead?
What would I do? If I was a good-looking fellow like yourself, why, I'd just enjoy myself every minute of the time. I'd sit back and relax, and if I saw a good-looking girl along the side of the road, hey, look out!
Did you see him too?
See who?
That man standing beside the barbed wire fence.
I didn't see anybody. There wasn't nothing but a bunch of steers and the barbed wire fence. What did you think he was doing? Trying to run into the barbed wire fence?
There was a man there, I tell you. A thin gray man with an overnight bag in his hand. And I was trying to run him down.
Run him down? You mean kill him?
He's a sort of fence. I'm trying to get rid of him, or else prove that he's real. But you say you didn't see him back there? You sure?
I didn't see a soul. And as far as that's concerned, mister,
Watch for him next time then. Keep watching. Keep your eyes peeled on the road. He'll turn up again, maybe any minute now. There, look there.
how does this door work? I'm getting out of here.
Did you see him that time?
No, I didn't see him that time. And personally, mister, I don't expect to never see him. And all I want to do is go on living. And I don't see how I will very long driving with you.
I'm sorry. I don't know what came over me. Please don't go.
So if you'll excuse me, mister,
You can't go. Listen, how would you like to go to California? I'll drive you to California.
seeing pink elephants all the way, no thanks.
I could get you a job there. You wouldn't have to be a waitress. I have friends there. My name is Ronald Adams. You can check up.
Thanks, just the same.
Listen, please, for just 1 minute, maybe you think I am half cracked, but this man, you see, I've been seeing this man all the way across the country. He's been following me, and if you could only help me, stay with me until I reach the coast.
You know what I think you need, big boy? Not a girlfriend, just a good dose of sleep. There, I got it now.
No, you can't go.
Leave your hands off of me. Do you hear? Leave your...
Come back here, please. Come back. She ran from me as though I was a monster. A few minutes later, I saw a passing truck pick her up. I knew then that I was utterly alone. I was in the heart of the great Texas prairies. There wasn't a car on the road after the trucks went by. I tried to figure out what to do, how to get hold of myself, if I could find a place to rest, or even if I could sleep right here in the car for a few hours along the side of the road. I was getting my winter overcoat out of the back seat to use as a blanket when I saw him coming toward me, emerging from the herd of the moving steer.
Hello. Hello.
I didn't wait for him to come any closer. Perhaps I should have spoken to him then, fought it out then and there. For now he began to be everywhere, whenever I stopped, even for a moment, for gas, for oil, for a drink of pop, a cup of coffee, a sandwich, he was there. I saw him standing outside the auto camp at Amarillo that night, when I dared to slow down. He was sitting near the drinking fountain in a little camping spot just inside the border of Mexico. He was waiting for me outside the Navajo reservation when I stopped to check my tire. I saw him in Albuquerque, where I bought 12 gallons of gas. I was afraid now, afraid to stop. I began to drive faster and faster. I was in lunar landscape now, the great and mesa country of New Mexico. I drove through it with the indifference of a flying crawling over the face of the moon. But now he didn't even wait for me to stop unless I drove at 85 miles an hour over these endless roads. He waited for me at every other mile. I would see his shadowless flitting before me, still in its same attitude over the cold and lifeless ground. Attitude over the cold and lifeless ground. Flitting over dry rivers, over broken stones cast up by old glacial upheaval, flitting in the pure and cloudless air. I was beside myself when finally reached Gallup, New Mexico. This morning, there is an auto camp here, cold, almost deserted at this time of year. I went inside and asked if there was a telephone. I had the feeling that if only I could speak to someone familiar, someone that I love, I could pull myself together.
Number, please.
Long distance.
This is long distance.
I'd like to put in a call to my home in Brooklyn, New York. I'm Ronald Allen. The number is Beechwood 20828.
Thank you. What is your number?
312.
Albuquerque.
New York, Gallup.
New York.
Gallup, New Mexico, calling Beechwood 20828.
I had read somewhere that love could banish demons. It was the middle of the morning. I knew Mother would be home. I pictured her tall, white hair in her crisp house dress going about her tasks. It would be enough, I thought, merely to hear the even calmness of her voice.
Will you please deposit $3.85 for the first 3 minutes? When you deposit the $1.50, will you wait until I collect the money? Alright, deposit another $1.50. Will you please deposit the remaining 85 cents? Ready with work, and go ahead, please.
Hello?
Miss Adams' residence.
Hello? Hello? Mother?
This is Miss Adams' residence. Who is it you wish to speak to, please?
Why? Who is this?
This is Miss Whitney.
Mrs. Whitney? I don't know any Miss Whitney. Is this Beechwood 20828?
Yes.
Where's my mother? Where's Mrs. Adams?
Miss Adams is not at home. She is still in the hospital.
The hospital?
Yes. Who is this calling, please? Is it a member of the family?
What's she in the hospital for?
She's been prostrated for 5 days, nervous breakdown. But who is this calling?
Nervous breakdown, but my mother was never nervous.
It's all taken place since the death of her oldest son, Ronald.
Death of her oldest son, Ronald? Hey, what is this? What number is this?
This is Beechwood 20828. It's all been very sudden. He was just killed 6 days ago in an automobile accident on the Brooklyn Bridge.
Your 3 minutes are up, sir. Your 3 minutes are up, sir. Your 3 minutes are up, sir. Sir, your 3 minutes are up. Your 3 minutes are up, sir.
And so I am sitting here in this deserted auto camp in Gallup, New Mexico. I am trying to think. I am trying to get a hold of myself. Otherwise, I shall go mad. Outside, it is night. The vast, soulless night of New Mexico. 1,000,000 stars are in the sky. Ahead of me stretched 1,000 miles of empty mesa. Mountains, prairies, desert. Somewhere among them, he is waiting for me. Somewhere I shall know who he is and who